There's few things in life that can set your training back as much as a shoulder injury. So within this video, I'm going to show you exactly what causes shoulder pain and how to load the rotator cuff to prevent against it.
So surrounding the shoulder joint, you've got the rotator cuff. Essentially, the rotator cuff is made up of the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the teres minor, and the subscapularis. And these muscles wrap around the head of the arm in order to make sure that there's enough space for the joint to move. And also they act like a pulley system to make sure that the joint is moving efficiently within the shoulder. However, if these muscles are weak, firstly, the deconditioning can cause pain. And secondly, it means that there's a reduced amount of space within the shoulder joint because they're not doing their job properly. They can't pull out, so the head of the arm goes further towards the top of the shoulder. And this means that there's less space within the shoulder joint, so everything just gets a little bit more irritated, a bit more grumpy, and this typically tends to present in pain. So the solution to this is really strengthening and isolating the rotator cuff. And luckily for you, within this video, I'm going to show you a series of exercises that you can perform to strengthen the cuff and also reduce the likelihood of shoulder injury in the future.
This exercise was Turn the Porn Star by the infamous physiotherapist Andrew Jaggi. To perform, you just want to rest your elbow on your knee and slowly rotate the arm out until you feel a contraction in the back of the rotator cuff. You generally want to repeat this exercise through until fatigue. A study by Butcher looked at what exercise is best to strengthen the rotator cuff. They looked at your typical gym-based external rotation exercise versus the supported porn star, and they wanted to see which one targeted the deltoid more and which one actually isolated the rotator cuff. Unsurprisingly, they found that the supported porn star exercise had a greater rotator cuff activation, whilst also minimizing deltoid activity, showing that it's a great exercise to isolate the rotator cuff and build up its strength. This is an isokinetic load for the rotator cuff, and it's effective as you've got a constant load on the rotator cuff the whole way through the movement. You want to grab a resistance band and pull it against resistance, and by doing so you start to load up the rotator cuff. Then you maintain the pressure on the rotator cuff by keeping it within the parameter of the blue line. A study by Mallion found that these forms of isokinetic exercises were far superior to common exercises in building strength in the rotator cuff, and therefore it's a great one to add to your strengthening arsenal. This exercise is a modified weighted carry. First of all, you want to make sure that the back's not rounded, so you really want to tuck the bum under to make sure that the spine's really nice and flat. First of all, this reduces the amount of pressure on your spine, but also it fatigues the rotator cuff a lot quicker. In order to advance, you just want to rotate the elbow all the way out to the side and then back in front. In order to progress again, you can really slow the movement down. Slowing the movement just makes the shoulder joint a little bit more unstable and really asks a lot more of the cuff in order to stabilise the joint. An additional way of progressing this exercise is by integrating a lunge. A lunge is a great way to incorporate the whole body into the exercise, and this is relevant as 50% of the shoulder strength comes from the legs, 30% of the shoulder strength comes from the core, and only about 20% comes from the shoulder joint itself. Therefore, it's really important to load up the body as a whole to make sure that you're really nice and strong in order to support the shoulder and support the rotator cuff. I would also recommend doing this exercise in front of the mirror, as vision accounts for 20% of the balance system, so looking in the mirror, not only will you be better balanced, but you're also able to self-correct your technique. Next, we've got the Isokinetic Rays. Essentially, you want to lie in a fetal position with the hand by the side, and then just very gradually raise it up above the head, holding a very light weight. And you'd only want about 2 kilograms for this exercise, and then you can gradually increase the weight. However, it's very effective at loading the rotator cuff. Additionally, the rotator cuff is loaded the whole way through the movement, so you'll find that it will get quite fatigued. If you find there's any discomfort or clicking and popping, look at my release video for the shoulder, and this should help to resolve this issue.
We hugely appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you could hit subscribe and also the notification bell, you'll not only be notified when my next video is released, but you'll also really help me to promote and to build the channel. To summarise, we've gone through the porn star, we've gone through the isokinetic rays, we've gone through the weighted carry, and we've also gone through the overhead raise. And all of these exercises in combination will give you a really well-rounded approach to strengthen the shoulder and to prevent future injury. Again, if you could do me a huge favour and hit subscribe, and also check out my rotator cuff injury video, and I'll catch you there.